what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Berkey. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa on the world-famous Las Vegas Strip. Findlay Kia is proud to present Tough Enough's Feast de Brawl. We are so very thankful you could be here with us tonight as we team up with 3 Square in an effort to fight hunger and make sure everyone eats this Thanksgiving. Drysdale, Fitch, Couture, Rousey. We can proudly say tonight you will see the future stars of MMA. The cage is now open for business. Let's get to work. Making his way out of the blue corner is our first fight of the evening, Bryce Sepe.
And we welcome you into the Tough Enough Fighting Championship. Dave Farah and John Morgan in the booth tonight calling the fights. That is Bryce the Vice Sepe walking into the Tough Enough cage this evening as we get set for our first bout of the evening. That's going to be taking place at 135 pounds in the bantamweight division. Let's meet his opponent.
And now his opponent, out of the red corner, Bryan Calleros.
Bryan Calleros has a mixture of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai kickboxing, fighting out of Las Vegas. He is 26 years old, and the young man that we just introduced to you, Bryce the Vice Sepe, is just that, a young man. He's only 18 years old, John.
All right, I tell you what, Dave, that's exactly what I love about Tuff Enough, the future stars, the mixed martial arts. First of all, I mean, look at the camps that these two are coming out of. Bryce, Cobra Kai, Bryan is coming out of One Kick Nicks, both top academies here in Las Vegas. And like you said, Bryce Sepe, at just 18 years old, has 9 years of martial arts training experience. He's making his amateur debut tonight. Bryan Calleros, who you're seeing on your screen right now, made his debut back in August. Just 34 seconds it took him to get a rear naked choke victory. So these are two fighters at the very beginning of their careers, and I tell you what, nothing gets me more excited than to see fighters at this stage of the game.
So you've got a gentleman that trains at One Kick Nick in Bryan Calleros, who's walking into the cage in just a moment. One Kick Nick traditionally known for all of his fantastic stand-up abilities, but he's the one tapping guys out in 34 seconds. Now, of course, any of these gyms here in Las Vegas come as well-rounded academies, but you would think that a gentleman that trains with Cobra Kai, like Bryce the Vice Sepe does, goes, this guy can't tap me.
He's going to be ready to go to the ground either way. I think he's going to be comfortable. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Again, amateur debut, just second fight. Outstanding. It's always fun to watch here in Las Vegas.
First bout of the evening. We're set to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first fight of the evening is in the bantamweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, making his MMA debut tonight, fighting out of Cobra Kai, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here is Bryce the Vice Sepe. Across the cage, standing in the red corner with 1 win and no losses, fighting out of One Kick Nick, right here in Las Vegas, Nevada, Bryan Calleros. Referee in charge of the action is Ryan Tackett.
Gentlemen, we've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. If I tell you to stop, you must stop. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? You want to touch gloves? Do it now. Go to your corner.
John, these rounds are just 2 minutes apiece, and that a lot of times leads to a blistering action here in the Tough Enough cage.
Don't have to worry about pacing yourself for 25 minutes. Go right at it.
Bryce the Vice Sepe again in the blue corner tonight, making his mixed martial arts debut. He says he's ready. His opponent, who has 1 win on his record and an unblemished no losses, set to go as well. Bryce Sepe is wearing the black trunks. Bryan Calleros is wearing the red and the white.
Calleros with an early kick to the body moves into the clinch. I was just going to say how comfortable Sepe looked in the pocket, moving around, looking to change levels, but Calleros right inside the clinch. Sepe does have an overhook on the outside, trying to pummel in and switch off the cage.
Sepe looks like he really wants to get some distance. Now he's got it. Let's see what we can do with it. Calleros doing a nice job muscling him around the cage early on here.
Yeah, Sepe made a mistake there. He got clear of the clinch and then stayed right there on the fence, allowing Calleros to put him right back against it rather than coming back and resetting in the center. Unless, you know, if he does feel comfortable against the cage and wants to work from the clinch, it's not a bad strategy, but I would have preferred to see him move away when he reset.
Tough to tell if that's some blood on the back of Calleros there or if that's just a scratch, but it looks like, yeah, it looks like Sepe may be cut above his right eye. Again, tough to tell from the angle that we're sitting at right now. Yeah, there is blood dripping down. So Sepe in his very first mixed martial arts fight at just 18 years old, getting worked right now by Bryan Calleros, but still very scrappy, standing in the pocket, ready to trade.
Yeah, found an opening, showed some character in there, just firing out punches, but you can see not only the cut above the eye, but also the reddening of the ribs. Some of those knees inside have really done some damage early.
Again, these rounds just 2 minutes apiece. Sepe is trying to create a little bit of distance, not able to open up just yet, and Calleros doing a good job of just smothering him against that cage.
Yeah, no room to work whatsoever.
Oh, nice right hand.
Oh, and a right hand drops Sepe.
Sepe goes down, grabs a leg. A little bit of jiu-jitsu here. There you go. Calleros on the back of Sepe. Tough to tell if that arm's underneath that chin or not.
Yeah, a little bit too high on the back to get a choke, you think, but could maybe switch it out to an armbar. Final 10 seconds. Not going to be able to get the finish.
But Calleros doing a nice job of maintaining position. Sepe still trying to fight to improve, even though that's the end of round number 1. Okay, so he's 18 years old. That is his first moments inside the cage. No matter how much time you spend inside the gym training with training partners, when you step into the cage with somebody with bad intentions, everything changes. If you're Sepe's corner, what are you telling him right now?
Yeah, I think things were a little bit different than he expected there. Obviously, when somebody's going full strength and doesn't care about your intentions, it makes things a little bit different. Again, I'd like to see the jiu-jitsu. He looked comfortable there, although he almost put himself in a bad position. He at least looked comfortable, even though as Calleros was kind of the dominant force on the ground, he looked at least comfortable in defense. I'd like to see what he can do from a little bit of distance. The couple times that we saw him swinging, he looked composed. He looked like he's willing to trade. So I'd like to see him stay away from that fence and trade out in the middle and try to do something there.
Calleros doing a great job, though, of just grabbing him and pushing him right up against that cage. And like we were mentioning earlier in the round, just smothering. How does he avoid that? Does he just need to circle more, or what's the defense?
Absolutely, the footwork. It's all about the defensive footwork. Some of the most underrated aspects of mixed martial arts is the ability to stay away from trouble, and he just kind of walked right into it.
Bryce the Vice Sepe in his debut tonight at just 18 years old has been training since he was 9. He is wearing the black and the gray. Bryan Calleros with a dominant round number 1 in the red and the white. We are set for round number 2 here at the Tough Enough Fighting Championship. The future stars of MMA, our first bout of the evening here at the Fiesta Brawl.
Sepe moves inside this time. Now he's the one pushing against the cage. Again, he looked comfortable on his feet, moving well in the pocket, moving his hands, not keeping his head stationary, but decided to move right into the clinch.
Sepe trains with Cobra Kai. They're known for their superior jiu-jitsu skills and training.
It just strikes you in this position that Calleros looks like the stronger man. It just looks like Sepe is having trouble moving his opponent.
Maybe Calleros at 26 has that old man strength.
Nice firefight there. Calleros again seems to be getting the better of it.
Sepe into that exchange, basically just ducking his head, trying to avoid damage. Calleros again showing that strength, able to push Sepe up against the cage. Only about 60 seconds remaining here in this second round.
And again, even though it's just 2-minute rounds in the amateur ranks, when you're just getting started with this, that can still put attacks on the body very quickly. Just the adrenaline dump that you get from being inside there, being under the lights, being in front of this crowd.
Well, the adrenaline dump is the perfect way of putting it, too, because you get so excited for the fight. You get all this build up to this very moment where the cage door closes, and then things suddenly aren't going your way, and that body just feels sapped. You have to be able to turn the tide and get some of that adrenaline flowing once again.
Yeah, right now, Calleros with underhooks in the clinch. He's grabbing the neck as well, driving those knees inside. You can see Sepe reaching over with his right arm, trying to get a standing guillotine choke. Doesn't have anything there right now. More controlling the head.
20 seconds left here in this second round. Sepe throwing some nice knees.
Big right hand for Sepe.
Just glances off the head of Calleros.
Yeah, I think Calleros is having, Sepe I should say, is having some success. Now does have a late takedown. Calleros seems to be fading just a little bit here in the latter portion of the second round.
That is round number 2 coming to a close. Bryce Sepe and Bryan Calleros in a much more competitive round number 2. If you had to give that round to somebody on the unofficial scorecards that we have here in our booth, who do you give it to?
Yeah, I think it was a more competitive round. Better for Sepe, especially late there. Got the leg takedown, had some success on his feet, but I still got to give that round to Bryan Calleros as well. I think he's got to be up 2 rounds to none at this point. And again, with Sepe, it looks like he's comfortable in the clinch. As you mentioned, Cobra Kai Jiu-Jitsu, known for their grappling, but I think he's having some success in those striking exchanges. Not necessarily the most technical striking that you'll ever see, but he's having some success. And Calleros, you know, it was just a little bit, but I felt like he was fading right there at the end. It was this look in his eyes. It was, you know, the kind of the heavy breathing and slowing down with the energy. I think Calleros is a little bit tired, and Sepe might try to capitalize here in the third.
Well, if you're down 2 rounds to none, as we know, you have to throw caution to the wind, go out there and take some risks if you're going to win the fight, because you have to finish it. We haven't seen anything that was really that close to a submission in the first 2 rounds, so a knockout win for Sepe may be his key to victory against Sepe in his debut tonight, just 18 years old, in the black and the gray trunks. Bryan Calleros in the red and the white. Third and final round in our first bout of the evening.
We'll show respect there to open the final round.
Sepe coming out, swinging hard. Calleros doing a nice job sewing up that body, not giving him a lot of space to work.
And you can
Sepe
say
breaks
this
free.
Yeah, this time Sepe did back away. Now you can see the hands. Now he's going into this clinch again, but I just feel like he's been overworked there for the first two rounds.
Big takedown for Sepe, though. He gets it, falls into a bad position. Able to elevate Calleros, but this is bad news. Only 90 seconds left in this fight. He's got to get a knockout to win this.
Yeah, tough to get a submission from this position. Obviously, you can do some damage on top. You can try to set an armbar, but working from Calleros' closed guard is going to be a little bit difficult. You can see right now Calleros doing a good job of controlling the head. You won't see the elbows that you see in the pro games. There's no chance of opening up any kind of a nasty cut with an elbow to get some kind of fluke TKO win. So you've got to do some serious damage if you're on top here with Bryan Sepe.
You could make an argument that Bryce Sepe won that second round, and if that's the case, it's all of a sudden a more competitive fight. But look at this, Calleros with those legs sneaking up, looking for a triangle.
Set up on the outside there. You can see Sepe trying to punch out of it. Answering the phone there with that left arm as he's pulling it up, trying to create some space for himself so he doesn't get choked out. Calleros doing the right thing there, trying to adjust and pull down on the head. Wants to pull that arm across the body. Now he's grabbing on the body and trying to pull it across.
30 seconds remaining. That looks increasingly tighter. You see that blood flow in the back of Sepe really starting to shine that red through that skin.
Yeah,
pull down on that head.
It's definitely tight. Sepe not going to give up here. Looks like he's comfortable, but that is certainly tight. You can see the reddening of the head.
Referee watching very closely, making sure that Sepe doesn't go out. Only about 12 seconds left here in this third and final round. Down to our final 10. Calleros making a statement as we go to our final bell. Sepe stuck, neutralized, coming to the end of the fight. Calleros still punching away. That's the end. Wow.
Couldn't get the finish, but I think Calleros put a stamp on that. I think he was in danger of losing that round, and then that second round score does become interesting, Dave. But because he ended up with the submission for so long, was punching while in there, I think Calleros takes all 3 rounds, at worst round 1 and round 3, and should walk away with the decision.
We'll see what the official judges say in just a moment. But Bryce Sepe, again, in his debut tonight at just 18 years old, has plenty of time to go back and readdress. And, John, if you were one of his coaches and you met him in the gym on Monday, or perhaps even tomorrow on Thanksgiving Day, because that's how some of these guys roll, what would you say to him?
Hey, I'd be proud of your effort. You know, you didn't give up until the final bell. You were putting some danger in the third round, and you stuck through it and lasted through the submission. So I think Bryce Sepe, I mean, think about it. At 18 years old, obviously in great physical condition, obviously looked comfortable here. It was a tough fight for him, but overall, nothing to hang your head about and be ashamed of. I saw solid effort. I saw things that I'd see promise in. So I think that's what's fun about the amateur ranks. You get a chance to see where you're at. You get to go back and address it before you make your professional debut. You know, if you ever do get that level. Not everybody here is going to be a UFC fighter, but you get a chance to address those things. And I thought it was a nice debut for Sepe at just 18.
Fun scrap to get us started. Here is the official judge's decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we have your winner by unanimous decision, the red corner, Bryan Calleros.
So Bryan Calleros walking away with the unanimous decision as predicted. Up next, we are moving up to the lightweights at 155 pounds. The Feast of Brawl, one day before Thanksgiving, coming right back to the South Point.